Hello there, Romans here and welcome to my next music review. I review every album from a viewpoint of a musician, as I am a singer, songwriter, bass player for my own group Jakobe, and we have released our first debut album, Pursuits in Life, something like 2 months ago, and it's a pretty heavy prog rock music without guitars. Instead you have drums, bass, saxophone and keyboards, making it a pretty unique record. And it's available everywhere on Spotify, Tidal, Deezer, iTunes, Amazon, but also in this 20 pages long digipack format. And if you like buying CDs, I think you will find it very interesting because the graphics are really very beautiful. And you can check out the first single, We're Building Our Own Monument, that is on my YouTube channel, and let me know what you think about it. And now let's look at the album I'm going to review, so the Night Flight Orchestra, Sometimes the World Ain't Enough.
Music review. Music review.
Before I start with this review, a few things I would like to say. First of all, I'm a huge 80s nerd. I love 80s. That's my favorite decade of them all in music. And I love AOR music. And I'm not generally a big fan of new bands or 21st century bands that try to do 80s AOR or hard rock or glam rock, because it just seems that all these groups are attempting to do something that has been done before and much better, and they don't really bring anything new to the table, and I don't really consider them being very fresh. But a friend of mine has recommended me one of their first 3 albums, and he says that I understand your point of view, but I think you're gonna like this group because they're really very good. As of now, I didn't get a chance to discover them, to get to know them, and when I found out that they were about to release a new album, which came out yesterday, I decided, okay, let's check them out and let's take the new album as a sort of a starting point. Another very interesting thing about this group is that the band members, especially the singer and the bass player, are from, I think, Soilwork, and that's a pretty extreme metal group, and most of the other band musicians are from heavier metal groups, so it's kind of funny that they share their love for 80s pop music in a way, and they have a project for that. So without further ado, let's look at this new album that I've heard 6 times as of now. Most of the tracks on the album follow that classical 80s standard AOR songwriting, with a few exceptions, one of them being the first track, This Time, which at the beginning kind of reminds me of Nightwish meets Judas Priest, especially with those high-pitched vocals. And this is probably the only song on the album that is more on the metal side, more than rock or pop, because it has that double bass drum. Also, the song Paralyzed has that funky, almost 80s disco dance vibe. And I found very interesting the last track of the record, called The Last of the Independent Romantics, which is a longer track. It has around 9 minutes, and it's a very nice song that has almost like a prog vibe, and I like all those different parts that are in that. Pretty much the rest of the tracks are very similar in terms of style. You've got Turn to Miami, which is very 80s, almost like Vice City, GTA Vice City song. And the singer reminds me many times of Ronnie Atkins from Pretty Mates, especially when he uses that overdriven vocal style. The title track is relatively reminiscent of Foreigner, and I like that darkness-like high-pitched falsetto at the end. It's kind of unexpected. Moments of Thunder is a song where the chorus is like that typical 80s positive chorus. I just wish that the other parts around the song had same mood or atmosphere. It also has very big vocals. Speedwagon is okay song. Lovers in the Rain is like that prototypical 80s hit that has a strong heard it before kind of vibe, but not in a bad way. This is actually one of the more memorable songs on the record. Can't Be That Bad is another classical 80s song. It's a very solid track. Pretty Thing closing in. The beginning actually reminds me of the song My Number from the indie rock group Falls. This is one of my favorite tracks on the album because of the sound and production. This song, in my opinion, nailed that sort of 80s nostalgia the best. Barcelona and then Winged and Serpentine are all pretty okay tracks. So generally when I look at this record, I was kind of disappointed with not liking it as much as I thought I would. I can't really say that any of the songs on the record are bad or weak, but it's the overall production and the sound of the record. I just don't really like the sound of the record. Also, it's too long and the songs are very samey, and it's like this one steady flow that if you listen to this record, songs kind of blend together, you get kind of lost. It will be kind of difficult to differentiate between individual songs, and I think that this is one of the reasons why I don't really try to explore new bands trying to do anything like that. I remember listening to some other groups like Place, Vandom or Work of Art in the past. I think that their production, I liked it a little more than this one. I understand the premise of the group because it's pretty clear that they're aiming for that 80s nostalgia, not just with the style of the music and with the sounds, but also with the graphics, with their image, with their music videos, and I kind of dig that because I really like that period. But there is just something about its production and the sound of this record that is not very appealing to me. I'm not really sure why. There is one record that I would use as a perfect example of how to nail down the 80s production. I don't even think it's a band, it's more like a project called The Midnight, and their record Endless Summer from 2 or 3 years ago is just fantastic record. It is more of a synth pop / electronic music, but it's very 80s. You've got like saxophone, keyboards, singing, and I think that that record is just much better in terms of what it tries to achieve and how well the songs are written. It is for me a record that I would love to listen to again and would like to return to again. And this record is like, okay, I've listened to it, but I'm not sure if this is a record I would want to revisit anytime soon. So to sum up, for me this is 6 points out of 10. But if you are a fan of this genre, if you are a fan of the bands like Journey, Starship, Survivor, Foreigner, Boston, I think that you're gonna love this record and you can put one additional point. In Slovak, sometimes the world ain't enough means niekedy svet nestačí. Have you heard the new record already? If you have, you can leave a comment in the comment section below. You can write down how well do you like the record, if you agreed with me or you didn't, how well does it compare to their previous stuff, and if there is a record from their previous discography that I should listen to. Also, you can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can find the links to both in the description of the video below. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe to check out my own music and other reviews, and thanks a lot for watching.